Good morning, guys. It's Saturday, and I want to share with you from 2 Samuel chapter 15 and 16. And also, I want to share a little bit of Psalms with you. It's been so good, a continuation of Psalm 119. And so, to start off, David is fleeing his son Absalom, and he and his household are running out of Jerusalem. Absalom is coming to take his life to claim the throne. And so I want to look at David's heart, what's going on right now. So David hasn't always done the best for Absalom in his choices that he made and how he handled all the situations. And so this led up to some of what Absalom is doing right now. So I can only imagine all the different feelings and emotions that David might be having. David, as a parent, we look back on the things and how we handled situations, and we think, man, if I could only go back and do things differently. So, he might be having some regret, some self-doubt. He might be having some frustration and even anger, and trying, how he tried to make amends with Absalom, but it didn't go over well. He might be feeling unworthy, fearful because Absalom is coming after him, and all these emotions. And it says he's walking out of Jerusalem, and his head is covered in ashes. He's weeping, and he's barefoot. This is not a man in anger or a man in fear. This is a man that is mourning, and it paints a totally different picture of how I might imagine feeling if I was in this situation. But David still loves his son very much. Even after all this is going on, he has a love for his son, and he's believing that God is going to take care of all of this. So even the priests are, trying to bring David the ark and say, hey, let's bring the ark with us out of the city. And they're kind of using it as a good luck charm. It's like, maybe if the ark's with us, maybe things will go better for us. But I like what David says. He says in verse 25, he says, carry the ark of God back to the city. If I find favor in the eyes of the Lord, he will bring me back and let me see it in his dwelling place. But if he says, I have no pleasure in you, behold, here I am. Let him do what seems good to him. So, David, at this point, I'm thinking, man, how can you feel like this? How do you get to this point of, whatever you want, God, I'm just going to put it all in your hands. And the secret is he's fully committed to God. He knows he's messed up. He's not a perfect man, but he has repented and he's fully committed to God. And I want to bring the word abiding in here. Pastor Booker talked about abiding this past Sunday. David is plugged in, he's connected to the vine, and he's getting his nourishment from the Father. And just going back to John 15, it says, if I can read that, it says, let my love nourish your hearts. If you keep my commands, you will live in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands, for I continually live nourished and empowered by his love. And I'm believing that David was being nourished by knowing how much the Father loved him, and just say, you know what, God, I believe and I'm trusting in you. And when we have these things that come against us, if we can believe in God's love instead of giving into the fear, God can bring us out of that. I want to go to Psalm 119. And it says in verse 114, it says, you're my place of quiet retreat, and your wraparound presence becomes my shield as I wrap myself in your word. And that's a beautiful picture. I don't know who wrote this psalm. Maybe it was David, maybe it was somebody else. We're not really sure, but I feel like it has David's heart. And he's saying, I'm wrapped your words around me, and they are my protection. Whatever comes against me, the despair, the worthlessness, the anger, the fear that tries to get to me, I'm not going to let it, because I know what your word says. And you are my refuge, and you are my salvation. So nothing can penetrate and get into my heart to make a difference and cause me to go away from the truth. Verse 124 says, let me feel your tender love, for I am yours. Give me more understanding of your wonderful ways. I need more revelation from your word to know more about you, for I am in love with you. We need to know more about God. We need to be in our word. It starts there. If we don't get into our word, we're not going to know his love for us. We're not going to know and recognize his voice when he speaks to us, because we don't know how he's talking. We won't recognize him because we haven't been in our word. So guys, we've got to get in there. We've got to know him better. Finally, it says, every word you speak, every truth revealed is always right and beautiful to me, for I hate what is phony and false. Guys, the enemy can only imitate God. God is truth. Everything else is phony. Everything else, the enemy tries to make it look good. He tries to make it look right, but it's only an imitation. God is the only truth. And sometimes it's easy to forget his perfect love for us. It's easy to believe he wants the very best for us, but he's already given us his very best. He gave us his son. And that's, what more can we ask for? What more will it take for us to believe in the love he has for us? I hope this is your passion too, that you're just pursuing and believing in the full commitment to him, that you just, that's your desire. I just want to fully commit to you, God. It's a day-to-day process, and we start over in the morning again and say, God, renew my heart, renew my thoughts, help me start anew. Guys, thank you for letting me share my thoughts again with you, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at church. Have a great day.